Hello, and welcome to Fluent English 10, the podcast for English learners who want simple and fun practice. I'm your host, Elena, and I'm excited to help you grow your English skills today. In this episode, we will talk about a very useful and fun technique called shadowing. We will also listen to a short story that shows how you can practice shadowing with real English. This technique is great for improving your listening and speaking skills at the same time. You don't need to study grammar for this. Just listen, repeat, and enjoy the rhythm of English. Shadowing means you hear something and then quickly repeat it, like you're copying the speaker's voice. This helps your pronunciation, your fluency, and your confidence with real English sounds. It's like singing along with a song, but instead you're speaking sentences with natural tone and speed. We will use a story about a woman named Sarah on her first trip to New York City. She is excited. She makes a small mistake on the plane, and she learns an important lesson. You'll hear useful words for travel, polite phrases, and real English spoken clearly and naturally. I will guide you step by step, so don't worry. This is great practice for all learners. You will also learn that mistakes are okay, and being kind helps everyone feel better. This is a full episode with learning, practice, vocabulary, and motivation, all in one place. So get ready to listen, repeat, and improve your English one word at a time. Take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin your English journey today. Ready? Let's learn how to use the shadowing technique with Sarah's travel story. Let's begin by learning what the shadowing technique is and how it helps your English skills grow. Shadowing is when you listen to someone speak English and repeat their words right after them. You don't wait. You copy the words as soon as you hear them, almost at the same time. It's like you are their shadow, following closely behind every sound, word, and sentence. This technique trains your mouth, your brain, and your ears all at once. When you shadow, you don't need to think about grammar rules or translation. You just listen and repeat, focusing on pronunciation, rhythm, and the natural music of English. This helps you speak more fluently because your brain remembers the sound and pattern of the language. Shadowing also helps you speak faster and more clearly. Just like native speakers, you learn how sentences rise and fall, how people pause, and how they connect words together. This is real English, not just what you see in books or grammar charts. You can shadow anything: stories, podcasts, conversations, or even short videos with subtitles. Start with short, simple sentences. Listen carefully and try to match the speaker's tone and speed. Don't worry if you can't say it perfectly. Just try. Every time you repeat, you get better. Repeat one sentence many times, then move to the next. Slowly, your mouth will feel more natural. Shadowing also builds confidence. You are speaking real English, not just reading or writing it. And remember, you don't have to understand every single word. Focus on the sound and rhythm first. Later, you can learn the meaning. But first, just speak, repeat, and enjoy the flow of English. This is one of the best ways to improve speaking from home without needing a partner. Now, let's practice with a real story. The story of Sarah's first trip to New York. Sarah was very excited. She was going to New York City for the first time in her life. It was a big dream for her, and now the dream was finally coming true. She had planned the trip for months, reading blogs and watching travel videos every night. Sarah lived in a small town in the countryside, far from big cities and busy airports. She had never flown alone before. This would be her very first solo international flight. The day before the trip, she checked her suitcase carefully, making sure she didn't forget anything. She packed clothes, shoes, a light jacket, her phone charger, and a small notebook for notes. She also packed her passport, her plane ticket, and some printed directions to her hotel in New York. Before going to bed, Sarah felt nervous. What if I get lost? What if I make a mistake? But she smiled, took a deep breath, and told herself, "It's okay. I can do this." In the morning, she woke up early, checked her bag again, and took a taxi to the airport. She looked out the window as the taxi moved through the streets of her small town. It was still dark, and only a few lights were on. The world felt quiet and calm. She arrived at the airport 2 hours before her flight. The building looked big and modern. At the check-in counter, she showed her passport and ticket. The agent gave her a boarding pass. "Here you go. You're in seat 17A by the window," the agent said with a smile. Sarah smiled back. "Thank you. I love window seats," she said happily. Next, she walked to the security check. There were many people in line. She waited patiently, put her things in the tray, and walked through the scanner. The security officer asked her to open her backpack. Inside, he found a bottle of water. "I'm sorry, you can't take this on the plane," he said. "Oh, I forgot. That's okay," Sarah said, and she threw the bottle away. After security, she followed the signs to gate 24, where her flight was boarding. She bought a coffee and sat near the gate. She checked her phone and sent a message to her friend. "I'm at the airport. Everything is okay? My seat is 17A, window seat." She looked around and saw people from many countries, speaking different languages and wearing different clothes. It made her feel excited and a little nervous. This was really happening. When the flight was called, she got in line and handed her boarding pass to the gate agent. "Have a nice flight," the agent said. "Thank you," Sarah replied, and she walked down the jet bridge toward the plane. She felt butterflies in her stomach, but smiled with excitement. She stepped onto the plane and looked for her seat, row 17, seat A. Sarah slowly walked down the narrow airplane aisle, carefully looking at the seat numbers on both sides. She passed row 10, then row 12, then row 15. Finally, she reached row 17 and stopped. 17A, she whispered to herself. "That's my seat, the window seat." She looked and saw that 17A was empty. She smiled and placed her bag in the overhead bin. Then she sat down, looked out the window, and took a deep breath. The view outside was dark, but she could see the lights on the runway. She felt proud. "I made it. I'm on the plane. I did everything by myself." Soon, more people entered the plane. The seats around her began to fill. A woman sat down in 17B, the middle seat. She smiled at Sarah and said hello. "Hello," Sarah replied. "Is this your first time flying too?" The woman laughed. "No, not really. I fly a lot for work. You?" "Yes," Sarah said with a big smile. "First time flying alone. First time going to New York." The woman nodded. "You'll love it. New York is loud but amazing." Sarah looked out the window again, imagining the tall buildings and bright lights of the city. Just then, a man arrived and stood beside Sarah, looking at her seat and then at his ticket. "Excuse me," he said gently. "I think this is my seat, 17A. Sarah looked up, surprised. "Oh, really? I thought this was my seat. I have 17A too." The man smiled and said, "No problem. Let's check together." Sarah reached into her backpack, pulled out her boarding pass, and read it again. She showed it to him. "See? 17A. Window seat." The man showed her his ticket. It also said 17A. Both were confused. Just then, the flight attendant walked by and noticed the situation. "Is everything okay here?" she asked. The man explained, "We both have the same seat number on our tickets." Sarah smiled nervously. "I thought this was mine, but now I'm not so sure." The flight attendant looked at both boarding passes and checked the flight number and date. Then she pointed to Sarah's ticket and said, "Oh, your seat is 17C, not 17A." Sarah's eyes widened. "Oh no, I read it wrong. I'm so sorry. I didn't see the C." She felt her cheeks turn red. She stood up quickly, feeling embarrassed. "I'm really sorry," she said again, looking at the man. "It was a mistake." The man smiled kindly and said, "Don't worry about it. These things happen. It's okay." Sarah moved to 17C, the aisle seat. She still had a good seat, just not by the window. She laughed a little and said, "Well, I guess I'll have to imagine the view." The woman in 17B smiled. "You handled that well. Some people get angry over small things." Sarah nodded. "I'm just happy he was nice about it. It was my mistake." The plane began to move. Sarah fastened her seatbelt and looked around one more time. She felt proud again, not because she was perfect, but because she stayed calm and polite. Now the plane was ready for takeoff, and her New York adventure was just beginning. Now let's look at some useful travel vocabulary and common English phrases from Sarah's story. These are perfect for your next trip or for practicing polite English in real situations. I'll say each phrase or word slowly. You can repeat after me, shadowing style. Ready? Travel vocabulary. Boarding pass. This is the paper or phone ticket that shows your seat and gate. Example. Here is my boarding pass. My seat is 17C. Repeat after me. Boarding pass. Window seat. A seat next to the window on the plane. Example. I want the window seat so I can see the sky. Repeat. Window seat. Middle seat. The seat between the window and the aisle. Example. The middle seat is sometimes uncomfortable. Repeat. Middle seat. Aisle seat. A seat next to the aisle or walking space. Example. Sarah's correct seat was the aisle seat. Repeat. Aisle seat. Security check. The place where airport staff check your bags and body before your flight. Example. I passed through security check and threw away my water bottle. Repeat. Security check. Gate. The place where you wait to board your plane. Example. My flight is at gate 24. Repeat. Gate. Excuse me. I think this is my seat. You can say this if someone is sitting in your place. Repeat. Excuse me. I think this is my seat. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Use this phrase when you realize you were wrong. Repeat. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Don't worry about it. This is a polite way to say, it's okay or no problem. Repeat. Don't worry about it. Have a nice flight. Say this to someone before the plane leaves. Repeat. Have a nice flight. Is everything okay here? A polite question to check if someone needs help. Like the flight attendant said, repeat. Is everything okay here? These words and phrases are simple, useful, and very natural. Practice them often by speaking out loud or using them in short role plays. You can also write your own short story using them, just like Sarah's experience. The more you repeat these, the easier it will be to remember and use them in real life. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Fluent English 10. I hope you enjoyed practicing with Sarah's story. You learned how the shadowing technique can help you improve your English speaking and listening skills at the same time. Remember, shadowing is simple. Listen carefully, repeat quickly, and copy the speaker's tone, speed, and rhythm. You don't need perfect grammar, just confidence, curiosity, and the courage to speak out loud. You also learned new travel vocabulary and real-life English phrases for polite and friendly conversations. Repeat these words often to make them part of your natural English. Don't be afraid of mistakes. They are normal, and they help you grow. Just like Sarah, you may sit in the wrong seat sometimes, but you can smile and learn. Kindness and calm thinking make every travel story better and every English mistake easier to manage. If you liked this episode, try listening again and shadowing the full story one more time. The more you practice, the more confident and fluent you will feel. I believe in you, and I know you can do this. You are not just learning English, you are becoming an English speaker. Come back next week for another episode with clear language, useful tips, and stories to help you grow. Until then, keep speaking, keep listening, and most of all, keep believing in yourself. I'm Elena, and this was Fluent English 10. See you next time.